On today's video, we're taking a look at the SH Figuarts Kuwagata Ohger and finding out if he is truly the King of Kings.
It's morphin' time!
Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the SH Figuarts Ohsama Sentai KingOhger Kuwagata Ohger action figure. This is our first of currently two KingOhger Figuarts, this one and the Kuwagata Ohger P-Bandai exclusive, which I'm not currently picking up. I don't like Raculus that much. Here we have Gira himself, of course, Red, the leader of the team. Kind of as I predicted, it seems with the current new Figuarts lines, we get a Red and one other. But let's take a look at Gira as an SH Figuart and see if they translated this design well into action figure form. Here is Kuwagata Ohger. What an interesting design. I think a lot of the KingOhger suits when we first saw them was kind of like, oh wow, those are different. For one, they have like a spandex undersuit, but they have all this armor on top, which I think is really cool, but it does give it kind of a non-traditional Sentai look, which lately for Sentai that has been the case. Kira Major was like the last time we had like a Sentai. Zenkaiger mixed things up with the robots. Don Brothers is mixing things up with like the CGI Rangers. And then KingOhger has gone for this armored look in addition to shooting almost entirely on green screen and digital screens, which has had mixed results. But in general, you know, I do like KingOhger as a show. I think it's incredibly well written. Visually, it's not the strongest, but it's not a fault of the suit design, so much of the production design behind let's put everything on a green screen or a digital screen, and then not exactly know how to do that on a weekly budget. But the cool part about the figure is that it replicates the suit design really well, and it would make me hope that we would get other KingOhgers, but like I kind of said in the packaging segment, it doesn't seem like they're really set on, you know, filling out teams. It seems like we get two from each show, and the other one we're getting is the silver repaint of this in Kuwagata Ohger. I'm not planning to pick up because I don't like Raculus that much. But in general, it would be nice to see the other KingOhgers. It would be nice to see their Zenkaigers and the other Don Brothers. But it does feel like the KingOhgers are a little bit more normalized, like body-wise, so I feel like it would be easier to do them. But yeah, it just doesn't seem like they have any interest in that, which is a bummer. But at least we got, Kuwagata Ohger. It's kind of the same reason I don't have two Kaiser or Zenkaiger Black or Kuwagata Ohgers, because they're just one-offs compared to the mains. I might as well just collect the mains. But do the best for you. So anyways, getting to the actual figure, since I'm just kind of like floating them around, it's always interesting to look at the KingOhger suits because they seem very one-tone, right? Like if you look at the body, it's like boom, just red. But it actually does have a red and then a darker red as like an accent color. And that's kind of how all of them work, which is really, really cool. It's kind of a different approach to take for a Sentai design. Though I don't think this should become the norm. It only works in certain contexts. They did go with a bug theme for this Sentai. So he's got a Kuwagata or a stag beetle for a theme. And his helmet up there looks really nice. I think they did a good job there. Plus, the chest emblem is behind a little clear plastic window, which is appropriate and matches the design of the show. You can see it's actually painted on. It's not like a sticker, which is actually pretty cool. So it does have like kind of the premium feel. The belt buckle as well does have the logo emblazoned on it. And then it also does have the holster part for the Ohger caliber. And in general, I mean, he's not got that much paint. Considering how it's done, I think the paint is just like the accent colors here and the silvers, and that's about it. So it's not as like super heavy paint detail, but they did do a good job. I mean, even on the back plate here, they made sure to have like the extra, non-color specific details under the armor, which I think it adds to the premium feel. The feet on the bottom are basically just blank though. Other than that, I mean, that is pretty much it for detail. He's kind of light on detail, which is fine because it works, it's accurate, but it is not necessarily like the most striking figure when you're like counting up paint apps, but everything is done really nice for what they got. Now here comes my first problem with the figure, because I have been ignoring the shoulder cape. I love the shoulder capes, how they work in the show. I love Sentais with cape, Lupin Ranger, Jacka, Go Ranger, capes. I like capes, but this cape is, as you can see, a little too heavy. So they did it in plastic. Cloth I think would have been better, having had the Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Wizard Figuarts versus the originals. I much prefer like the kind of like the leather-ish soft goods cape versus the plastic, because of this, it just kind of is a giant weight on his shoulder. And the problem with this is if you move his arm too much, it just pops right off because the ball joint connection isn't that sturdy. It has about the same strength tolerance that this does. In fact, this feels a little bit stronger, and that's because of the weight. It actually wears it out a lot quicker. So you can just be kind of posing this guy around, moving him around. You can just bump that and it flies right off. It's probably my biggest complaint with the figure because it doesn't feel like it stays on, but it also does feel like it's done so that you don't like break something, like it's just got like a safety pop release thing. But if you're trying to just pose the figure without like taking him apart, essentially, it does become really annoying, especially because that joint moves, like it moves along that axis. So it can be kind of hard to plug back on. But you know, I just find myself when I'm trying to pose the figure, moving his arm, and then the cape just falls right off. So this is probably the worst part about the design. And again, that's also why I'm skewed away from getting Kuwagata Ohger. But let's look at his articulation without the cape because the cape just gets in the way. So, of course, he's got the standard like joint here, ball joint at the base of the neck thing. Shoulders move out. Of course, the shoulder pads move on a little ball joint plus a hinge. He's got, you know, shoulders move down. They rotate a little bit. There's not much like arm, you know, cross in front of the body thing because of the restriction in the design. But he's got a bicep swivel, a double jointed elbow, a wrist that pivots all the way around. Here in the torso, you've got upper torso that moves. It doesn't really crunch forward back as much as it just turns left right. And then you have a little bit more forward back crunch at the waist, which is a full ball joint. The hips move out. This piece here, the actual holster, doesn't move. It just rotates a little bit if you have the sword on, which we'll look at, of course, in a bit. Forward leg movement. Not so much back, it kind of just splays out to the side. You got a thigh swivel in here, a double jointed knee, and then an ankle that pivots forward back a little bit, and then a little bit inward, not so much outward, and then a little bit of a toe joint. I do mean a little bit, it's not much, but it's there. And so yeah, it's good enough articulation, but again, it's not super fun to pose if you want to try to keep the cape on. So if you're doing this, I mean, you don't really have a choice because the cape's just going to come off anyways, but you probably want to take the cape off like this, pose them around, get them into whatever pose you want, and then put the cape back on and hope that you can get it to look natural. Because yeah, it's just going to be always straight down. But of course, he does come with some extra accessories, particularly in the way of hands. He comes with the prerequisite fists that all Figuarts seem to come with, though I've never seen a KingOhger just get into a fist fight with somebody. They're all pretty much sword people. The second set of hands are these relaxed hands that just kind of casually rest there. They look nice. I don't know what I'd use them for, but hey, it's nice to have the option. And then he's got his open dramatic hands, which is great for like putting him in poses where he's laughing maniacally, because it's the thing Gira does a lot. But it does highlight one of my problems with the cape, because the cape is all plastic and it shoots out this way. If you want to rotate it down so it like looks like it's naturally rested, it's just gonna fall off because the ball joint's too far, the ball socket's too far into the shoulder pad. But yes, you can have him maniacally laugh, cape or no cape. And then Gira comes with hands to hold things. But unlike a main Kamen Rider from Build through 01, he does come with a weapon. So this is the Ohger Caliber, which I affectionately call the Boppet Sword, since pretty much the 5 transformation pieces on the hilt here are boppets. Like you twist that, you pull this, you slap that and pull that. It's like a boppet, okay? I'm gonna be honest. It's just like it's boppet, but it's fancy because it's got like a wooden handle design. And of course, it is the transformation item and main weapon for all of the primary KingOhgers. And it looks really nice. They well painted it. None of these pieces move, which I didn't expect them to, nor do they even have a reason to. It's just, you know, sometimes they have things move on Figuarts like Kamen Rider belts, but this all static, but it looks really, really nice. And I think overall they replicate the look well. What's interesting too is that this is how it attaches to the belt, is this little like shape here. That will plug onto the belt clip here, which actually has a similar shape. Plug it onto the waist, and there you go. Now it's attached to his waist. So I like the way that looks. He doesn't come with any other weapons to like hold while he has this stored, but I do like the way that it looks like that. It's kind of like how I like Kamen Rider Saber having that feature as well. Even though I'm probably not going to pose him that way, it's nice that he has that option. And then of course, those holding hands, either or, will work perfectly to hold the Ohger Caliber. So yeah, the posing options really come alive when you got him with the sword. It's very much how KingOhger works, and he looks pretty good. Again, you just can't get too crazy with him because of the cape. So if you wanted his like arms splayed out like this, but you wanted the cape in a kind of a natural position, it's just not going to get there. You know, that's the best you're going to be able to do. You know, if he's got like a crazy swing going on, you know, like something like this, maybe with the more dramatic open hand. I just went with the casual. Even with something like that, you're going to have to like just be careful because, again, this cape is just going to go only where it wants to go and then eventually fall off. But overall, I mean, the accessory loadout is good. It would have been nice to have seen the King's weapon, but that is kind of a complicated piece. So I understand it, can't be included with a normal priced figure. Oh, right, but it comes with Kuwagata Ohger, which means you only get one of them, for your 2 King Ohgers at that point. Again, I'm not going to complain too much. At least he came with the sword. That is kind of the most important piece for this guy, and I can do enough poses with the sword that it feels all right. But let's take a look at a comparison of him next to other recent Sentai leaders. All right, so we have Ohsama Sentai KingOhger's Kuwagata Ohger, Kikai Sentai Zenkaiser's Zenkaiser, and Avatara Sentai Don Brothers' Don Momotaro. So these are the main, leaders of the most recent Sentai, and Gira looks good alongside them. The nice part about the newest Figuarts is they have the newest technology, so they do look really, really nice. But again, you're pretty much just getting these and then one additional for each show and not a full team, which is a bummer. But I will say that in general, I do like that they are scaled a little bit differently. Like Taro's a little bit taller, but they are about all the same size. So it's not like the crazy scale shifting that happens with the Kamen Rider Figuarts, for example. I think if I was going to rank these, I think that Don Momotaro is the best one. He is 100% the best figure out of the 3, just articulation-wise and posability and options, since he comes with 2 weapons. He's got a bunch of hands. He's got a lot of options to him, which makes him really fun. Zenkaiser's probably my second favorite, because he is overall a good experience. Kuwagata Ohger gets kind of dragged down by the cape and then the clashing of some of the armor elements restricting his posability. So they're all good, but if I was ranking them, it's 1, 2, 3. Which is a little bit of a bummer in KingOhger's case, because I do think it probably has the most striking design out of the 3, but it does suffer a bit from that kind of uniqueness. And then for fun, here was the most recent Ultraman at the time of KingOhger's debut, which was Ultraman Decker, and then the most recent Kamen Rider at the time, which was Kamen Rider Geats. If we're going to do what's the current lineup of shows, we would need Ultraman Blazar and Kamen Rider Gotchard, but Blazar isn't at my house yet, and Gotchard won't be out till February, and I'm not even buying him. So you get Geats and Decker, okay? You just have to settle for the older guys. But this is, this is accurate to when KingOhger debuted. But yeah, that's kind of a cross-compatibility thing. They're not, ever crossing over, so you don't have to worry about it too much, but it's just kind of a neat thing to do with the figures. So overall, Kuwagata Ohger's a good figure. He's not amazing, he's not revolutionary. That cape is just such a drag on the playability factor of just posing him around. But once you have him up on the shelf, he looks really good, and that's, a good thing at the end of the day. So, he's kind of a mixed bag, but I think overall, if you are looking for a figure of Kuwagata Ohger, this is probably the nicest one. It's just going to take a little bit of maneuvering around that cape. So that pretty much does it for the video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the comments, and let me know which is your favorite of the KingOhgers. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to help the channel grow, as well as be notified on future videos from Super Sentai and KingOhger. I want to do a video on KingOhger's mecha line, and if you want to help that happen directly, you can check out our channel memberships in the join button down below. We have $1, $3, $5 tiers. Help support the channel directly and get us closer to the goal of doing a crazy big video like the KingOhger mecha. So please check it out if you have the ability to. Also check out my live streams Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern here on this YouTube channel. You can also find my Discord in the link below and come join the discussion we have there. If you'd also like to find me on social media, I'm on different platforms at Soundout12. Plus you can find my awesome graphic designer on social media and on Discord at DarkClaw643. And you can find Hero Club at hero-club.com for tokusatsu interviews, news, and more. So until next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.